Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are taking on the big one, the Nobel Prize. We all know the name, right? It's the absolute pinnacle of achievement. But what is it really? What isn't it? And what about the incredible world of awards that has sprung up all around it? So let's get into it.
Go on. Think about it for a second. These are some of the most important fields shaping our world. But the answer is kind of shocking. The Nobel Prize doesn't recognize a single one of them. How is that even possible? Well, that's what we're here to unpack. So to really get the prize, you got to understand the man who started it all, Alfred Nobel. You probably know him as the inventor of dynamite. But it was his will that created his most explosive idea, a prize that would become the ultimate symbol of human brilliance. And this right here, this one phrase from his will is the DNA of the entire thing. For more than a century, this has been the mission. It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about being the smartest person in the room. It was all about doing the most good for humanity. That idea alone was a game changer.
And Nobel absolutely put his money where his mouth was. He dedicated almost all of his massive fortune, 94%, to fund this vision. We're talking a staggering amount of cash, which guaranteed that the prize would be prestigious and, just as important, completely independent from day one.
Nobel himself laid out the original 5 categories. Now, he was an engineer, so it makes sense he'd pick the hard sciences of his day, physics, chemistry, plus medicine and literature. But the really fascinating part, he was an arms dealer. Many historians believe that his most famous prize, the Peace Prize, came directly from the ethical struggle he felt about his own work. But here's the thing. As visionary as Nobel was, he couldn't see the future. His will was written in 1895, and it was totally a product of that specific moment in time. And that means it had some pretty major blind spots that have only gotten more obvious over the years. You see, Nobel was laser-focused on the practical industrial sciences that were changing his world. But that meant huge foundational fields like mathematics were just left out. Same for the arts, music, and the social sciences that help us figure out who we are. And the prize's limitations aren't just about the subjects. It's also about who got picked. Just look at this breakdown. Of course, this reflects a lot of broader problems in society, but it's a huge part of the Nobel story. In over a century, 49 prizes have gone to women. That number, it really speaks for itself. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking. Wait a minute, what about the economics prize? And you're right, that's the one big exception. But here's the catch. It was added way later, in 1968. And crucially, it's not a real Nobel Prize. It's technically a memorial prize funded by Sweden's central bank. After they added it, the Nobel Foundation basically said, that's it, no more new categories, ever. So what happens when the most prestigious institution on Earth says no? Well, that refusal to change, it accidentally kicked off a revolution. It directly led to the rise of what people now call the alternative Nobels. I mean, get this story. Back in the 70s, a philanthropist named Jakob von Uexküll went to the Nobel Foundation. He wanted to add 2 new prizes, one for ecology, one for fighting poverty, and he even offered to pay for them himself. The foundation said no, sorry, can't change the will. So what did he do? He sold his stamp collection for $1 million and started his own award anyway. Incredible. And the mission of his Right Livelihood Award says it all. It was built from the ground up to fill the exact gaps the Nobel left behind, to reward people tackling the most urgent problems we face today. And here's the cool part, that act of creative rebellion, it wasn't a one-off thing. A whole universe of major awards has popped up, and each one has become the absolute pinnacle for the fields the Nobel ignores. Let's meet a few of them. This chart really lays it out, doesn't it? For pretty much every major field Nobel missed, a world-class heavyweight equivalent has risen to take its place. They've become the top honor in their own right. So let's do a quick flyby of some of the biggest. In our digital world, the Turing Award is king. It's named after the legendary Alan Turing, and it's the highest possible honor for the geniuses who invent the technology that runs our entire lives, and for the people who literally build our world. The visionaries who design the buildings we live and work in. There's the Pritzker Prize. It's the ultimate award for changing the world through architecture. What about music? Well, there's the Polar Music Prize, often called the Nobel of Music. And a little fun fact for you. It was founded by Stig Anderson, the manager of the iconic pop group ABBA. And the ecosystem just gets richer from there. You've got the Wolf Prize in Israel, which is a huge predictor of future Nobel winners. The Lasker Awards, so important in medicine, they're called America's Nobels. The Premium Imperiale from Japan, a top global arts prize. And the Breakthrough Prize, backed by tech billionaires, which comes with a wild $3 million purse. So what does this all add up to? It means we need to kind of shift how we think about what a pinnacle prize even is. It's not a monarchy anymore, ruled by one single award. It's a huge, sprawling, and thriving ecosystem of excellence. So here's the big takeaway. The Nobel is still Mount Everest. It's iconic, it's historic, no one's denying that. But it's just one peak in a vast and spectacular mountain range. The Turing, the Pritzker, the Fields Medal, these are all massive peaks in their own right. And together, they celebrate the entire diverse spectrum of human genius.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As our world changes, what it means to benefit mankind changes too. So in the 21st century, which is more valuable? An award for creating our digital reality, or an award in a more traditional science? There's no easy answer, is there? But it's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.